Welcome to the Mr. Fashion YouTube channel, and this is the Let's Go for EVs podcast. This is a place where we discuss about electric cars, and here with me I have a very special guest. He is special because he is not a YouTuber, he is not a public person, he is your, let's say, normal Porsche owner who works hard all his life, and now he was able to afford the newly announced Taycan GTS. Firstly, let's introduce Mr. Hugo. Hello.
Hi, Cyprian. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we will find more about himself and about his car. Now, let's introduce yourself, Mr. Hugo.
Okay, so as you told me, I'm not a professional driver. I'm not a journalist. So I'm just owner of a Taycan and the new GTS in sedan, and that's it. You know, when I started to follow your channel, I'm not a YouTuber. I just started to follow your channel as I was expecting my own Taycan. And it was very different. Your channel was very different because it was not a professional, let's put it that way. It was not a professional way like journalists do. You know, it was a very personal approach to the car and the experience of having the car. So it was amazing, to be honest. So I started to follow you, and we started to exchange some message, and now exchanging some advices from you, and that's it.
Thank you. So Mr. Hugo worked all his life, and I'm really curious to find out what he's actually working. What is his business?
Well, I do have some schools.
Great. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure, English schools actually in Luanda, in Angola. So I'm Portuguese. I live in Lisbon, but I went to Angola when I was 30. Worked as HR and an oil and gas company, and then I moved. I opened a school, and from then I opened an English school, and then the second one, and then the third one, and that's it. But I'm based in Lisbon, Portugal.
So what you do is private schooling for those who want to learn English.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's great. That's a great way to learn English, because when I started learning English, my first experiences were in United Kingdom. So when I was younger, I was sent to this I would say a private university for 2 weeks, and in that place I was able to really experience my really expand my English vocabulary and my English pronunciation. Until then, I wasn't able, in my school, I wasn't able to learn English as fast as I was there. So after schooling, I was let's say on Oxford Street, and I was speaking to all these persons, let's say at a coffee shop, and this is how I was able to really learn English in the best way possible.
Okay, good. Well, if you can practice your English in a English-speaking country, that's perfect. That's the way to do it, of course.
And how are you able to work remotely?
Well, I do have an excellent team working over there. Some expats, some Portuguese, British as well, and Brazilian guys. So it's a big team.
I understand. That's great. Congratulations on your achievement. I see that you're a hardworking man. But now, after we found out some things about yourself, let's see. What was your journey from the car perspective? What were your previous cars?
Well, I have several cars. My prior from the Taycan, it was a 997, my first generation, and then I decided that it was time to move beyond the Range Rover. It was a Range Rover Sport, a V8. And I went to Porsche looking for the Panamera. That was, the one I was thinking about. And I thought I was completely a petrolhead. So the Taycan, it was not on my radar, to be honest. But it was available, and I tried. And the first time I tried, I just loved, and that's it. It was a love at first sight. Let's put it that way. So no, I didn't. I didn't even wanted to try it. I was just, come on, I went the Panamera, and then the Taycan was available. I went for a drive, completely in love. That's it. No more IC cars for me.
That's great.
997. I sold also the big V8, the Range Rover. And nowadays I have this GTS, but I also have an old one. It's a Mercedes SL. It's a 380, a V8 as well. And also I have a Mitsubishi Pajero, the 4x4, a V6.
You configured your car yourself, is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
What was how was your experience?
I had some help. It was great, because I went there. Of course, I'm sure that you and all guys that are watching your channel already experienced the Porsche. How do you say it? It's the simulator. Is that it? The configurator.
Yeah. Configurator. Yeah, that's the best.
Correct. So I spent hours in there, choosing colors and the wheels and Michelin wheels and the Spider and this and that. And when I decided to go to my Porsche dealer, and he actually an amazing guy, and he just spent, I don't know, 2 hours configuring the car. Basically, we went through every option available, and he was giving me his feedback. For example, for the windows, the double windows for the front, you say, it depends if you do a lot of highway or not. Maybe it's not necessary, or it is. The panoramic roof as well, for example. It depends if you want some lighting, but I live in Lisbon, it's very hot. So I went for that special roof, that you can change the color, the new one, things like that, So it was, of course, although I had many hours on the configurator after, and being there with the Porsche sales rep, I ended up with some small details that I did different. But in the major spec, I had already everything chosen.
I absolutely love your spec. I think it's one of the best looking GTSs, I think, in Portugal, because I think it's the first Taycan with the special panoramic roof in Portugal. What made you to go for the GTS? Is it because it was the newest one, or you wanted the GTS?
No, I wanted the GTS. I started with the 4S. Of course, I wanted the Turbo S. It was too much for my pocket. So I started with the 4S. But I had so many options on it. I don't remember how much, but it was very hugely spec'd. And then we started to hear about the possible GTS coming. And so I waited around 2 months before signing the contract, more or less.
Okay.
And as soon as the GTS came, I immediately signed. GTS, and we are always hearing this. This is the soft point, the better point that in the whole range of the Porsche lineup. And it to my honest, to my humble opinion, I think it is. If you have all the means, go for the Turbo S.
Yeah,
but if not, for me, it's a perfect solution. I think that for the Taycan, but also for the 911 and other models, the GTS is normally the sweet spot, where you can find a good aesthetic, good level of equipment, but with a reasonable price for my reality, of course.
Of course. And what I don't understand about the GTS in the Taycan is the fact that they weren't able to put the central lock wheels. Uh, what was your did your dealer told you about that, or you
No, no,
weren't interested? Yeah,
no.
I'm
I
always.
wasn't interested, to be honest. To be honest, I wasn't interested. I love my wheels, the Spike wheels. I think they're amazing. And when
I
you
love
see
them
it
too.
live, yeah. But when you see it live, they're amazing. To be honest, that was
How
something
many
that I didn't
kilometers?
like on the Taycan.
How many
Now
kilometers you have on the car?
1,100.
Great. So you were able to charge at least once or twice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Actually,
where
I
do
have
you charge?
I charge at home.
Great. So you use the Porsche charger, or you installed your own charging solution?
My own solution. Yeah.
What do you use now?
Well, it's a power box, a simple one.
It's a wall box. Okay, so it's a 22 kilowatts or a 11 kilowatts power box?
No, 11. No, it's 11. It
11.
outputs around 7.4 kilowatts.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
very simple, Yeah, it's sufficient, to be honest. I do have that limitation to 85% of charge every day, so I never went to 100%, to be honest.
Oh, you have plenty of
Yeah,
time to.
yeah. I do 50 kilometers per day, no more.
So I think
But
to be owning an electric car for yourself, it's really worth it. I want to continue our conversation with the dealership experience. You already told me that your dealer was very kind to explain you every single option, but I'm really
mhm.
interested to see what was your experience from start to finish.
I did have a huge problem with the delivery of my Taycan because there were 12-volt battery shortage. It was a huge problem. It affected the production line, 30% of the cars, and my car was included in that slot. So my car was produced in June. It was the dealership in June, the last days of June, and I received my car only in November,
On
in the
November
beginning of
2nd.
November.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So that gap of wait, it was terrible. I signed. It was, yeah, exactly. I signed the contract on the 25th of November 2021. So it was almost a year waiting for the car. But as I said, the bigger issue was the time that I was waiting. The car was already in the dealership. It arrived, but without the 12-volt battery, and we had to wait almost 4 months for it. It was terrible. The car was there. I was already very unhappy, and started to doubt my decisions to go for the Taycan and even Porsche, because to be honest, my dealership was amazing. He's a Portuguese guy, of course, myself, but he's a fantastic guy. But the truth is, Porsche didn't give any information, any date, nothing. So it just kept on everyone in the dark. Even the guy, he had no information whatsoever of the time that they expected to solve the issue with the 12-volt battery. So it's really, really hard, to be honest. So amazing from the time I test drive the car and I sign it. The proposal to buy the car, it was amazing. The first months waiting, it was great. Watching YouTube channels like yours, amazing experience. But then when the time frame was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, some doubts starting to appear. That was very, very difficult, to be honest. I know it's not a really a very huge problem. Of course, it's just a car. But when you buy something and you want to try it and to play with it, and to drive the car. So it was actually quite difficult, the waiting time. So it kind of put some darkness in the process, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Were you able to test drive the 4S and the GTS, or only the GTS?
Only the 4S.
Only the 4S. Okay,
So
you had no
I bought the
expectations.
GTS. No, not so ever. So I bought the GTS without knowing anything, so just reading and watching YouTube channels and hoping that the car was good. I was concerned, to be honest, that it was too rigid for my day because I use it as a daily.
Yeah.
So I was concerned that the car was too heavy or too stiff for a daily drive. It's an amazing car, to be honest. It's an amazing car. It's such a in terms of agility, in terms of speed, acceleration as well. Forget the numbers. If you go for the numbers, it's 3 or 4 seconds from 0 to 100, but that's not important. So, but that small amount of power, it's completely different car, to be honest.
I found some really interesting things about your configuration because, as we all know, the GTS comes in red with the Alcantara interior, and you decided to go with the Dolomite silver and the leather interior, as I see here, and also the leather steering wheel. What
Yes.
You were afraid of Alcantara or Racetex, as they call it?
Yes, I was, to be honest. I read a lot of things about the Racetex, and I talked to the Porsche guys at my dealer, and the fact that I was driving this car on a daily basis was my main decision to go for fully leather and not Racetex. I love Racetex, not only on the seats, but especially on the wheel. But Racetex for everyday usage, plus the kids, I was concerned. So I preferred to go all leather.
I completely understand, and I see that you didn't choose the Distronic, as they call it in the VW group. Did you forget about the option, or you didn't want it?
No, I didn't want it. To be honest, I don't do so many trips. To be honest, 2 or 3 times per year,
Yeah.
And I like to drive myself. So
yeah, that's why
it has
you buy a
cruise
Porsche.
control, but yeah, exactly. So I don't need it, to be honest.
To be honest with you, I really love the wheels. If I will find out where you live, I will steal them from you. Just so you
Listen,
know.
yeah, you have to see it in person. Yeah, amazing wheels. It's the 21-inch wheels. They are big and they are huge, and they look amazing. It's a completely different car. When I see the 4Ss with those with the winter tires that you have, for example, it looks more like a Panamera.
Yeah.
And with this configuration, the aesthetic point of view, it's a completely different car. It doesn't look the same, to be honest. The pictures here, they don't do it justice.
And also the driving abilities are completely different from 20 to 21. I really want to ask you this. Did you went with 21-inch winter tires, or you downgraded?
No, I have the Pirelli ones.
Great. So you remained with the same wheel.
Yes. And here in Lisbon, we do have winter, of course, but it's a very light winter. So even the temperature is nothing special. We don't have any snow, nothing. So we don't need winter tires.
What I can say is that the Dolomite Silver, I think, looks different in real person rather than the pictures. In the picture, it looks more like of a blue tone, but when I saw your photos, really look gray.
Yeah, absolutely. No, these pictures and the configuration doesn't give it justice. The car is amazing. It looks a completely different Taycan. for a normal 4S. The aesthetic point of view, the GTS, I think it's amazing with the front bumper. It's different as well, and the side skirts. And
Yeah, I
well,
really love the side skirts. They look
yeah,
really menacing like the Turbo S, but it comes with a numbering here, with a lettering here with the GTS
yes.
trademark. And another interesting thing is that you remained on the basic braking system. You didn't upgrade it, the braking.
No, you don't need it.
Yeah, so you just
It's
drive the car
it's
on a road.
well, exactly. I
Yeah,
do drive fast. I have to admit, but you don't need different brakes. That's more than sufficient. I don't track the car, so I
yeah.
you.
As you saw on my when we speak on Instagram, and you saw my latest fine from the police. I think the upgraded braking system would be really necessary for that.
Yeah, but I this has to be honest. You don't buy this cars because you drive like a nanny. Huh? Be honest.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to ask you about your particular spec is what was your interest? You wanted a medium spec one or you wanted the lowest price possible for a GTS? What is your opinion on that?
Uh, well, what can I say? I don't have limited funds for that. I went for straight for the Turbo S. Well, to be honest, I have everything in the car that I wanted, except I didn't put ventilated seats. At the time, I thought it was not necessary, but now I have my second doubts. So except for that, I mean, it cost me 1,000 euros or something like that. It costs 1,000 euros, but this was not a question of money. It was just a question. I thought it was not necessary, to be honest. So
And
for the
now
rest, I
you
went.
think now it is a
Yeah,
needed option?
I don't say it's not needed, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, yeah, of course. The interesting thing about the Porsche is the Taycan, in fact, is that you have the control for the seat in this touchscreen over here in the
Mhm,
central console, and I
correct.
think it would be really easy actually to retrofit the new or the upgraded seats with the ventilation as well. I don't know for now, but I think in the near future we will be able to retrofit a lot of parts, even the 360 surround view.
Yeah, that's a mandatory. You have to have it. The
Yeah,
360 camera. You
in my build, I skipped that because I was really dumb. I should put the surround view as well.
No, you have to put it. When I test drive my the 4S, it belonged to the Porsche dealer. I went to a shopping mall, and it was so hard to park the car. You cannot
Yeah, it
imagine.
was
So I
huge.
immediately decided, yeah, the car is very big. Maybe people don't realize, but it's huge. It's 5 meters long. It's a Range Rover. It's huge.
Range
And
Rover in
with the
size,
21,
in weight also.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So you definitely need some assistance to park the car, or else you can say goodbye to your fancy wheels.
Of course, yeah. When when I took delivery of mine in the first day, I wasn't able to park in my normal parking spot. I left it in the
Yeah.
street. And one thing because I was really tired, and another thing because the car felt so big at first. After 1,000 kilometers, I started to really get used to the size.
Yeah, it's a huge car.
What would you want to option besides ventilated seat? Is that your only option that you regret, or are there anything you want to add right now?
No, I have the GTS that I wanted with everything that I wanted. To be honest, it's full.
Yeah,
I have everything.
that's the great thing about a manufacturer like Porsche or Audi is the fact that you can tailor-make your car I really want to ask you, how long do you plan to keep the car?
Well, I think I'm going to keep the car 5 years.
Yeah, basically the same as me. So,
When the second generation, more or less, yeah. I have to be honest. I just received the car, so I have the car for 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. I'm already thinking about the next one.
yeah,
It's
of
incredible.
course.
So, well, the initial the initial plan was to have this car up to the next generation, the Taycan second generation, or maybe go for a Turbo S.
Yeah,
And my kids are they're starting to grow. The older one will have 18, more or less, so he can drive, and I can have again a car just for myself.
I think we will
So
be able to get a 911 by then.
let's see.
When you decided for the Taycan, did you look at the Model S or the EQS?
Well, at the time, the EQS was not even not it was not out,
Yeah, of course.
so it was not an option at the time. But the Model S it was available, and also the Model 3. It was actually I went to try it, and I liked it, but yeah, it was not the quality of the car was not terrible. It's a great car for the city. It's fast, it's agile. It's not no, it was not the car that I wanted.
So you
I
were
coming
more
from I
interested
was
in
coming
the
from
experience.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Drive the Model 3. I enjoyed it. It was a very nice car, but yeah, the quality of the materials and the way the car handles, it's nice for the city. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're gonna have all the Tesla fanboys hating us, but don't get me wrong. It's a nice car for the city. It's fast. It's agile, but it cannot be comparable to the Taycan. It's not. It's a different league.
Actually, for my sister, next year she will turn 18, and I was really thinking on getting her the Model 3, not only for her, but also for the channel to be comparing the different technologies from the Porsche and also from Tesla. But my sister told me that she's not interested in the Model 3. She would rather have a 2-liter Macan.
Yeah, every
Okay.
time I see the comparison, people the two cars, the Tesla and the Taycan, I just there's no way. You have to drive both, and then you decide. When you look at the specs, and the time that each one makes the 0 to 100, that's nothing in the real life situation. You're not
Exactly.
doing 0 to 100 every time. But if you have to compare it, driving from your home to your office or wherever, that's the way to compare cars. It's not 0 to 100 in the real life situation, real world. My opinion, of course. So the quality of one another, they're completely different. Of course, the final price of one and another is completely different options as well. It's the double, to be honest.
And
I wanted to show you something.
yeah, please.
Have you received this?
No, no. I
No?
assume there is a model of your car there, or is a special.
Yeah, correct. So I've never seen this in all the YouTube videos that I've seen from the Taycan. I never seen this. So basically, when I went to collect my car, the dealer, the sales rep, gave me this box. Now it says it's Porsche from this side. It has the logo here, and basically, let me show you guys. So when you open, you have this. So here you have the second key of the car. The second key, and let me just put it here. Some notes that you can look up.
That's
A
amazing.
small model of the Taycan, yeah, in aluminium. That's very nice. My kids love it. And from this side here, you open and you have
A
also
drawer.
yeah, and here You have these small plates. This, do you know what it is?
No, no.
No. Okay. So this is a system that you put one in the car, and you keep it the other one in your pocket with you. And if you in a situation of carjacking, the car will stop if it goes apart. You can set it up, and
That's a
just
great.
yeah,
I never knew about that. I wasn't
yeah.
in when I took delivery of my car. They just gave me the keys and they walked me. Oh, they showed me the car state, no scratches, no nothing. Go, bye.
Oh, really? Ah, that's a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah.
That's a
It
shame.
wasn't the real delivery experience as you do. They gave you that. I'm sure they were unveiling it, but at our dealership, they just look at the car. Is it okay? Buy.
Ah,
That's
that's a shame. I think when you buy a Porsche, it's a whole experience that you're buying as well. It's not only an amazing car, to my opinion, the best ones, but also the experience of buying the car and going through the configurator and talking to the guys. I think that's the whole experience of buying a Porsche.
Thank you for showing us this. It was a real pleasure to see this. I wasn't. Uh, I had no idea that Porsche dealerships give you this kind of stuff. My dealership wasn't able to
And
give me that. I loved that you presented this box with us. I had no idea, and thank you for keeping it a secret from me. Because if you told me that you were about to show us this, I was straight, show me, because I was really interested in that as well. Yeah.
sorry, go
What do
ahead.
you think of the out of spec motoring? The Kyle Connor. Do you know? Do you know him? He
Yeah,
makes these
yeah,
long
yeah, I know
trips.
him.
He was a main reason for me to get the car.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes, I was watching his road trips and also his record from the Cannonball. That hour-long
Yes.
video was the main point for me to get the car. He
Oh,
used
nice.
to make these long videos, and I used to watch them all and over again to really understand the concept, because when I was researching for my next car and I settled on the Taycan, I had no idea on charging, on power, or everything. It was completely new for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
for you.
exactly the same. Exactly the same. I understand zero about electricity and charging a car and kilowatts and amperes, whatsoever. Zero, nothing. And to be honest, it's extremely simple. You just arrive to the garage, you park the car, you plug it in, and that's it. And you go
Exactly.
home and you go to your app just to check and to confirm if everything is charging, and that's it. So it's extremely simple, guys. Don't overthink about it. I do 50 kilometers per day, and the weekends maybe more, of course, but on weekdays only 50 kilometers, and it's so easy. You just arrive and just park the car, and the next morning it's full again, and that's it, and you drive.
Yeah,
So
and another thing,
there's nothing to it.
indeed, I drive 4 kilometers a day, to work and to home. So this is my daily commute, and every morning I used to precondition my car. So every time I get in the car, it's already warm, and with my previous car, I had to get downstairs, start the car, and then dress up, and then I will find the car warm.
Oh my
Right
God.
now, I just press a button, and the preconditioning is starting, and the car is warm. And this is a great
Yeah.
thing about hybrids and also electric cars, because the Porsche Cayenne hybrid also, I think it has this option as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, to be
great.
honest, the Taycan is a very friendly car. To be honest, it's not a supercar. It's to my perspective, it's a wonderful GT. It's great for trips, but it's also good for the city. And it's very simple. It helps you a lot as well. It's all the small gadgets, like the preheating, and you arrive to the car in the morning. You don't have to warm up the car, just push the
Drive and
button
go.
and drive like a madman. So it's amazing. You just have to warm the tires because you don't have to warm your engine, nothing. It's an amazing car. I'm extremely happy with the car, to be honest. I spend hours on the different forums, checking out problems and checking out the good stuff and the bad stuff and this and that. To be honest, I'm thrilled with the car.
Do you think you should stay on the forum every day? Because when I was researching for my car, I watched all the videos and then I watched it again. And I started to feel tired, and I wasn't really uh, i- the the pleasure of waiting for my car really diluted, in my opinion. And then I stopped everything, the forums, the videos, and after a week or so, I started the pleasure of waiting reignited in some way. My home and my work are basically on the same land, but you have to
Okay.
make this kind of road in order to get from back to the front. It's a really weird arrangement, but it's much easier to drive the car rather than walk.
Well, I
Yes,
understand you, because I'm making excuses to drive my car as well. So I
indeed.
totally understand you.
I highly recommend you get some driving gloves because the steering wheel has a sort of weight on it, but when you drive with the gloves on, you feel more like a race car driver. Believe me, it's completely different with gloves, especially
Really.
some really high quality Piccari leather or even a basic leather. So I
Okay,
highly
nice. I
recommend
have
you
to
that.
try it.
Of course,
I'm gonna
I
try it.
paid like 100 euros for my pair. It was handmade in Romania and it feels really, really great to drive with
Oh,
those gloves. And I highly recommend you
nice,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
I will try
So,
it. I have to try it.
yeah, that's really it. It was a really
Okay.
uh, a podcast or an interview with some internet problems, but it was great meeting you and also speaking in a this form in video form because we weren't able to speak in video until now.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we are both busy persons, more you than me, but
Not at all.
it was a real pleasure to speak with you,
Thank
Hugo.
you. Thank
You
you.
supported me since I started, and that's the reason why I wanted you here in your journey of the Taycan. I think uh, your car really set me something in my heart. So your car feels a little bit mine if you want it to see it this way. And I really love that we were able to have this chat.
Yeah, it was amazing. Again, Cyprian, I have to thank you for the opportunity of being here and to help other guys that are looking for their Taycan or thinking about buying one. So it's an amazing experience. But I also wanted to thank you because, again, when I was waiting for my car, watching your videos, and again, it was great to have the opportunity to see small details and to see how the car performed on a daily and a regular base, and really happy, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure
So
to
again, thank you.
thank you too. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to do this for you. We will conclude this interview here. I wish
All right.
you a good night, Hugo. And if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. And we will answer to as much as possible. Hugo will be very pleased to answer your questions if you want to buy a GTS.
Absolutely.
Isn't that?
Just go for it, you
Yeah.
know. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
indeed.
But the car is amazing. So it just go for it. You know, you don't have to try it. Just my word on this. You're gonna love your car. Forget about all the issues that people talk on the forums. Um, they're pointless. Just go for it. It's an amazing car. Of course, maybe you're gonna find some small issues. For example, when you enter the car, maybe it doesn't connect immediately on your Spotify or whatever. It will take 30 seconds sometimes. But that's nothing. It's an amazing car, and it's really the future. So just go for it. And if you can, go for the Turbo S. If not, go for the Turbo or the GTS or the 4S or the real one. It's all, they are all amazing cars. Just go for that.
Yeah, I approve that message. Bye, guys.